Yesterday we have seen posology, homeopathic posology. We have seen the definition of posology. It is originated from a Greek word. It is made by the two words posos and logis, or the logos. Posos means how much and the logos means study. Definition also we have seen. So homeopathic dose includes potency, quantity, form and number of administration of medicine. So in short, it is nothing but doctrine of doses. Then we have seen the difference between the homeopathic posology and allopathic concept of doses, and why we are always comparing our pathy with the allopathy. That also we have seen. So there is a lot of differences in between the concept of their dose and our dose. Then we have seen how the potency should be selected. Why the potency selection is very much important. Though your medicine is totally similar on the basis of totality of symptoms, the susceptibility is the whole and soul guide which help us for the selection of potency. Then we have seen the different types of potency. For our convenience, we have divided it in the three parts. There are a lot of opinion regarding this, the selection of potency, the low potency, medium potency, and a high potency. Low potency means from 1 to 30, maybe in the decimal scale or in the centesimal scale. They are all belongs to lower potency. Medium potency means 30 to 1 m, and higher potency means more than 1 m, 1 m, 5 m, 10 m, 50 m. Susceptibility is the whole and sole guide for the selection of potency that we have seen. More susceptibility, higher the potency; less susceptibility, lower the potency. Then we have seen how this susceptibility can be calculated, because it is not the quantity by the quantity which we can measure with the help of the balance and weight box, but this is a thing which is individualized. The susceptibility may be increase or decrease, and the factors which affect this susceptibility: age. As the age increases, the susceptibility decreases, and hence in the older age we are giving the lower potency, and in the child and younger age we are giving the higher potency. The same point we have seen in the gender also, the habitat and environment also. We have seen those person, they are taking the proper nutritious diet, they are taking a proper sleep, they are doing the mental work, they are having the sedentary life, and they are having the more efficient life. Then here we are generally using higher potency. On the contrary, those people who are taking a less amount of food, they are taking the less sleep because of anxiety or restlessness, they are doing the more physical work. Then chemical handler, pharmacist, those are using tobacco or smoking, they are using the liquor, any druggist, and the mentally handicapped and the mentally challenged people, we are giving lower potency. Today we will see the next point for the selection of this potency, that is the temperament and a constitution. So this constitution means the physical makeup of the body, and temperament again which consider the mental state of that person. So physical plus mental, that is the constitution and the temperament. So the constitutions may be different. It may be the bulky constitution, it may be the lean and thin constitution, and the temperament may be jealous temperament, nervous temperament, sanguine temperament, and the phlegmatic temperament. So this temperament and constitution you will learn in the organon of medicine in the third year. As our homeopathic pharmacy is derived from the organon, chronic diseases, lesser writings of Hahnemann, and the homeopathic Materia Medica Pura. So the words or the terminology that you are getting the knowledge in the first year, in detail you will learn in the second and the third year. So this constitution and the temperament affects the potency, or we can say that this is the differentiating point of the selection of medicine as well as help in the selection of potency also, because we are selecting the medicine on the basis of totality of the symptom, and a further step of the totality is the repertorial totality. You have to select one repertory. Repertory means जैसे अपनी डिक्शनरी होती है, similarly we are having the one dictionary for the selection of medicine, that is known as repertory. There are so many repertories in the homeopathy. हनीमन की है, हनीमन ने रेपर्टरी जो लिखी थी वो पब्लिश नहीं हुई, वो हैंड रिटन ही थी, बट बोनी हुसैन, केंट, बोगर, then the Fatak, uh, then the Robin Murphy. So they are complete repertory. So there are so many repertories are there in the market, and the softwares are also available for the selection of medicine. So they are just like a dictionary where you will get the so many remedies against the one symptom. So many remedies you will get for the modalities. And once but the drawback is that repertoire will give you a group of medicines. It will not indicate a single medicine. So from that group of medicine, by taking the certain factors, you have to differentiate it. So one of the factor for differentiating that medicines from that group of medicine is the constitution and the temperament. So this constitution and temperament is useful in the selection of medicine as well as in the selection of potency also. So higher potencies we are adaptive for the sensitive person, or those are nervous person, those are having the more complaint for the liver diseases, liver for the liver, and for the they are having the certain problem with the bile. So there we are giving the higher potencies. Those people who are very intelligent but jealous, at the same time they are impulsive, here we are using the higher potencies. The lower potencies we are giving for the those individuals who are having the sign and symptoms related to the lungs. They are very slow and dull in comprehension. They are sluggish people, धीरे धीरे कोई एक्टिविटी करते हैं. Those who possess a great muscular power but वो use नहीं करते, they are not having the certain stimuli to use that muscular power. So in that case we are giving the lower potencies. Exception यहाँ पे ये आता है कि those people who are oversensitive or they are idiosyncratic. Oversensitive means the sensitiveness, they are having a more sensitiveness towards the remedy. So sensitive patient, if we are giving the higher potencies, then they will not cure by the higher potency. So in that sensitive patient or the oversensitive patient, generally we are giving the lower potency, or we can give the mother tincture and a single dose at a time with a long interval of its repetition. The second character of that individual is the idiosyncratic person. So idiosyncratic, they are having the higher susceptibility. And according to our axiom, the higher the susceptibility, higher the potency. But we should not give the higher potency to them, because the reason we know why we should not give the higher potency for the idiosyncratic individual. So I have given you this idiosyncratic concept in the drug proving. So this is your first question, why we should not use higher potency to the idiosyncratic people, though they are having a higher susceptibility. So this is about the constitution and temperament. Then we will see the nature and depth of the diseases. So the diseases we know it is of two types, acute and chronic. Disease word is made by the two word dis-ease. So dis means absent and ease means the comfortness. So whenever there is a absence of comfortness, this is known as dis-ease. So this is of two types, acute and chronic. Those diseases who cure very early within the 7 to 8 days of span, they are known as acute diseases. And those diseases, they are exist or existed for the longer period of time, more than 15 days, more than 21 days, more than 21 days, then they are known as chronic disease. And in between 15 to 21 days में जो diseases रहते हैं, they are known as subacute diseases. So according to their existence, we have divided these diseases into three types: acute, subacute, and chronic. So in the acute diseases, where there is no structural changes, then the susceptibility of the patient is higher. The symptoms comes rapidly and goes rapidly. They are having the fixed duration. For example, influenza or the simple cough and cold. So they require the higher potency. Because the higher potency, with that we can repeat the medicine frequently, so that the progress of the disease will get arrested, so that the patient will feels better very easily, early, and comfortably. So in the acute disease, again I am saying, when there is no structural changes. But those acute diseases where the opposite condition exists, where the vitality of the patient is very low, um, they are having the pathological changes. So in that case, we have to use the lower potency, where the vitality and the pathological changes, actually they are a different thing. So if the vitality and the pathological changes, if it is more, the vitality is less and the pathological changes are more, then we have to give the lower potency. So vitality low कौन से disease में हो सकती है कि जहाँ पे the water from your bodies get lost, nutrient जहाँ पे, salt जहाँ पे loss होते हैं, in that case we are giving the lower potencies. So such as diarrhea, vomiting, dysentery, then stroke or the extreme frustration, typhoid, या फिर कन्वल्शंस जहाँ पे है, या फिर excessive bleeding है, internal bleeding or external bleeding. So in that case we are giving the lower potency, but we can repeat the medicine frequently to overcome the that particular situation and to activate the dynamic affection. Then the acute manifestation of the chronic disease. That means that patient is suffering from the chronic disease, but because of the certain lifestyle disorder, or because of the certain things, that patient may have the certain acute affections. So again, the same thing we will follow. If they are having the gross pathological changes, then we will require the low to medium potency. But if that person comes to you at very early stage, where the pathological changes are not have not developed, so in that case we can prefer the higher potency. So in this way, depending upon the vitality, depending upon the pathological changes or the deterioration of the disease, we are choosing the higher or the lower potency. The second type of disease is the chronic disease. जो chronic disease बहुत सारे सालों से, महीनों से वो patient को है, so that is known as a chronic disease. Yesterday I have given you the classification of chronic disease. It is of three types: true chronic disease, artificial chronic disease, and a pseudo chronic disease. So true chronic diseases are those which are developed due to the miasms. So miasm is the positive factor for the chronic disease. Artificial chronic disease means the diseases which are developed due to the over drugging or by using the allopathic medicines frequently. And the third one is the pseudochronic disease. So this pseudochronic disease is not actually the disease. Once you remove the cause, the disease will cure, or it will be on the way of recovery. And this disease is developed again because of the certain habits or the unhygienic condition or the some certain steroids, or maybe the condition which you can remove easily, but that condition exists from longer period of time, hence they are belongs to the chronic classification. So these three types of chronic diseases, again it is classified in the same way. Though it is an artificial chronic disease, but if the structural changes are much more, we have to give the lower potency. And if the organic changes are not there, very functional changes you can observe, then you can give the higher potencies. In a gross pathological changes, as the susceptibility becomes gradually low because of long standing disease, long continued suffering, and organic changes are much more. So here we are using low or medium potencies. The two low potencies can be repeated in the frequent doses. And according to the Kane, he said that in the Kane's 10th observation, he said that the new symptoms appear after the remedy. If you have prescribed the medicine to the chronic patient, and if the new symptoms appear which is not belongs to the medicine, which not belongs to the disease, then the too high potency should not be given to the patient. And in the third observation, he said that the patient who is having the homeopathic aggravation, there also you do not change your medicine. After some time, after some lapse of period, the patient will get the relief. Then in the case of mental diseases, because mental diseases are again a part of chronic disease, so generally we say that the susceptibility of the patient, if it is a high, so we can give the higher potency. But here the mental diseases, it is contraindicated. We are giving the lower potency because the too violent dose or the too violent medicine may causes the aggravation in the mentally challenged people, and hence we have to give the lower potency, though their susceptibility is high. So this is about the nature and the depth of the diseases. Then we will see the structural changes. Again, the same thing. If the structural changes are more, organic changes are more, then we have to give the lower potency. So organic changes more, structural changes more, यानी क्या? So once the patient start his complaint by the Myzum Sora. सो सोरा के सिम्टम्स जो है वो हर एक सिस्टम के अलग अलग रहते हैं. इट इज डिफरेंट फॉर द लंग. सो इफ द रेस्पिरेटरी सिस्टम इज इन्वॉल्व, तो सिंपल कफ एंड कोराइजा वहाँ पे रहेगा. इफ इट इज ऑन द स्किन, द सिंपल वहाँ पे बॉइल्स आएंगे. इफ इट इज GIT, तो वहाँ पे नॉशिया वोमिटिंग होगा. सो द सोरा इज हैविंग ओनली द सिंपल symptoms. The psychotic miasm is there, then there may be the overgrowth. The symptoms increases. And if it is a syphilitic miasm, there is a destruction. तो वहाँ पे आपका tissue degeneration, cellular degeneration चालू हो जाएगा. So this is the difference, SORA, syphilis and psychosis in their manifestation on the primary stage. So if the structural changes, यानी SORA से वो patient psychosis या syphilis में transfer हो गया है, so there we have to give the lower potency. Then the various suppressions. So what is this suppression? So suppression means when the patient come to you, once that patient is having the manifestation of SORA, लेकिन वो अच्छे से ट्रीट नहीं हुए हैं, पेशेंट कुछ टाइम तक उसको ठीक था वो पेशेंट, अगेन द सेम सिम्टम्स appear, so that stage is known as palliation. But this temporary relief of the patient, if it is continue for the longer period of time, तो वो क्या हो जाएगा, that miasm which is present in that body, वो continuously आप उसको palliate कर रहे हो, temporary relief उसको दे रहे हो, permanently you are not annihilating that disease out from your body. So that condition which will exist after the some period of time, years के बाद जो आएगा, that is the suppression. So एक सिस्टम को छोड़ के वो दूसरे सिस्टम में वो डिसीज जा सकता है, या फिर वही सिस्टम को वो ज़्यादा डिटोरिएट करके जो सिम्टम्स सामने आएंगे, दे आर नोन एज सप्रेशन. सो वेरियस सप्रेशंस अगर है, So in that case also you have to give the lower potencies. The difficult and the incurable cases जो रहते हैं where the patient uh, and is incurable or the disease is incurable, to avoid aggravation and only to give the palliation to the patient, we are giving the lower potencies. So the 50 millisimal scale is also a best remedy for the palliation that we have seen in the advantages of 50 millisimal scale. Then the vitality we have seen, if the vitality is very low, then we have to give the lower potency. Mental and physical reaction to environment stimuli. That means the mental, we have seen lower potency, we have to give mental reaction to the environmental stimuli. That is the oversensitive or the idiosyncratic patient, or the who react to the stimuli very sensitively. So there also we have to give the lower potency. Even the seat of the disease is also important. When the internal organs they are get deteriorated, so there we have to give the lower potency. Or we can give the mother tincture. Or if the patient comes to you from the uh, other pathy, the previous treatment of disease अगर allopathy है, so in that case also we have to give the lower potency. Then in the structural changes, we have to see the stage of the disease. The disease process manifested in two stages, dynamic and organic pathology. The dynamic pathology denotes the stage from the very beginning of the disease till structural changes. While this period only a functional disturbances are reflected, so the susceptibility of that patient may be high, so we can give a higher potencies single dose. Or if in the dynamic pathology, we can give the repetition of the doses. But if that dynamic pathology is converted into the organic changes, then we have to give the lower potency, because during this period the susceptibility of the disease is gradually decreased, and hence we have to give the lower potency. As I have seen previously, कि mysomes are responsible for the development of chronic diseases. So, in the primary manifestations of any myosome, it may be SORA, syphilis, or psychosis, you can give the higher potency with the repeated doses. लेकिन अगर सेकेंडरी मैनिफेस्टेशंस बहुत ज़्यादा डिटोरिएशन वहाँ पे हो रहा है, एक माइजम दूसरे माइजम में कन्वर्ट होने के स्टेज में है, then we have to give the lower potencies. So this is about the nature and the depth of the disease. The next point is the nature of medicine. So the nature of medicine, if it is a nosode. So nosode, second question is, what is nosode? The nosode, a group of medicine where we have to give the higher potency. And nosode के बारे में भी मैंने आपको एक बात बताई थी in the drug proving कि the proving of the nosode is not completed, और जैसे चाहिए वैसे nosode का proving नहीं हुआ है. So we have to do the research on the nosode also, and that with a higher potency. So the nosode group of medicine should be administered in the higher potency for its true effects. The some medicine which work in the lower potencies, such as Cratagus in the valvular heart diseases. So here we have to give the lower potency. Sabencerylvita, we are prescribing this medicine in the BHP, that is the benign hyperplasia of prostate, which occurs at after the age of 55 to 60 years. Then arsenicum iodum. This arsenicum iodum is a good remedy for the influenza or the allergy related diseases, but we have to give this in the lower potency. So always keep in the mind, whenever you want to give the Cratagus, Sabencerylvita and the arsenicum iodum, always use the lower potencies. Then the certain medicines, they act differently on in the higher potency and in the lower potencies. So for example, hiparsulf. So this hiparsulf is about infection, यानी वो निकाल लेगा infection पूरा when you are using on the higher potency in the early process. For example, if you are having a boil, after that it is converted into the pustule where there is a collection of the pus. So अगर आपने पहले स्टेज में we are giving the belladonna because of the redness, लेकिन बेलाडोना से वो क्योर नहीं होता है बिकॉज ऑफ सम रीजन, देन वी आर गिविंग द हिपारसल्फ। सो हिपारसल्फ वहाँ पे अगर पस कलेक्शन है सो वी आर गिविंग द हिपारसल्फ। तो वो अबॉर्ट करने के लिए, वो निकालने के लिए वी कैन गिव इन अ हायर पोटेंसी। इट हैज रिजॉल्व द एब्सिस व्हेन यूज इन द लो पोटेंसी, जहाँ पे एब्सिस फॉर्मेशन है, पस फॉर्मेशन नहीं है, सिर्फ वो बॉय ही साइज में बड़ा हो गया है। सो इन दैट केस अगर आपको उसको हील करना है, उसको बाहर नहीं निकलना है वो मटेरियल को अंदर के, देन वी कैन गिव इट इन अ लोअर पोटेंसी। सो हिपारसल्फ जब भी आपको देना है, सो यू हैव टू सी द कंडीशन ऑफ द पेशेंट। Then the next important notification is the great care must be taken in the selection of potency of deep acting remedies. Deep acting remedies means those are the polycrest remedies. They are having the action on the internal organ for the longer period of time. So if you are using the deep acting medicines in the serious chronic diseases, then be careful. You have to start with the lower potencies. अभी ऐसे कौन से हैं? तो लैकेसिस एक है कि the लैकेसिस 200 it had most unpleasant effect, and hence it has to be antidoted by the sepia. So लैकेसिस 200 ये दिस इज अ वेरी डीप एक्टिंग मेडिसिन। सो अगर आपकी ससेप्टिबिलिटी या फिर पैथोलॉजिकल चेंजेस इफ इट इज नॉट मैचेस विद द पेशेंट, और अगर आपने उसको 200 में भी दिया मीडियम पोटेंसी में, so this will affect the patient badly and we have to antidote it by the sepia. So better you have, if you want to start the lachesis, start in the 30 potency. The second medicine, deep acting medicine that we have to use cautiously, that is the lycopodium. So this lycopodium, you should not start your ऐसे experience है कि we should not start our treatment by the lycopodium. Patient को पहले acute proved medicines दो and then start your lycopodium, but lycopodium 30. In some drugs the 200 potency जो है so they are dreaded, so in that the lycopodium is there. The lycopodium, by careful using of lycopodium in the potencies much higher than 12C in case of severe abdominal pain such as in the duodenal ulcer or may precipitate for the perforation. So the lycopodium in potency is more than 12C, again we have to use cautiously. देन फॉस्फरस, ये जो 3 मेडिसिन है फॉस्फरस, सिलिशिया एंड लैकेसिस, तो ये 3 मेडिसिन कभी भी प्री ट्यूबरकुलर स्टेज में नहीं देते हैं, या जो पेशेंट को ट्यूबरकुलोसिस हो गया है रिसेंटली उनको ये 3 मेडिसिन कभी भी नहीं देना है, दो दे आर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनली मैच भी अगर होते हैं, बिकॉज दे कैन रिवर्ट दैट ट्यूबरकुलर फेज। Thesis यानी फिर से tuberculosis. Previously the word used thesis for the tuberculosis. So phosphorus in the higher potency कभी भी with the advanced thesis नहीं देते हैं, और ये 3 drugs भी नहीं देते हैं in the pre-tubercular tendency because they may causes the hemorrhages. Bleeding चालू हो जाता है patient को internal या फिर external. So they are very dangerous remedies in the pre-tubercular tendency. The wrong potency or too frequent repetition may drive the patient to an active tuberculosis. तो fatal prove होता है for the patient. So this is about the nature of medicine. So we have seen the lower potency, higher potency, and the factors we have completed. So today we have completed constitution and temperament, nature and the depth of the disease, structural changes, various suppression, vitality, mental and physical reaction to the environmental stimuli. Then we have seen the nature of medicine. If it is a nosode medicine, then we have to give the higher potency. The certain medicines we have to give in the lower potency. But then, according to the nature of medicine, the some medicines abort the infection in the higher potency, and it may resolve. The same medicine can resolve in the lower potency. Then we have to use cautiously the certain medicines such as lacases, lycopodium. We have to use them in the lower potencies. And the three medicines such as phosphorus, silicea, and the lacases, they should not be used in a pre-tubercular tendency or pre-tubercular cases, or even जो पेशेंट को ट्यूबरकुलर टेंडेंसी है, जिसको रिसेंटली ट्यूबरकुलोसिस हो गया है, वहाँ पे ये तीन मेडिसिन हमको नहीं यूज करने हैं, because they may causes the hemorrhages internal or external. और पेशेंट जो ट्यूबरकुलर कंडीशन से ठीक हुआ है, they may again be in a tubercular tendency. Now we will see the different types of doses. First, the thing we have completed, that is the potency. The second thing is the dose. So there are the various kinds of doses which are available, or by which you can practice. But they are also having the certain disadvantages of using the maximum doses or lethal doses. So what is the maximum dose? So first kind of dose is the maximum dose. So it is the maximum or largest possible quantity of the medicine. जितना ज़्यादा हो सके उतना medicine patient को देना. That is the maximum. But this is in homeopathy, maximum dose should not administer for the treatment purpose, except in case of primary manifestations of psora, syphilis and psychosis. क्योंकि वहाँ पे degeneration of tissues नहीं है, so in that primary manifestation we can give higher, larger doses as well as repeated doses of the indicated medicine are to be administered here. Otherwise, the disease will not be cured, and rather it will increases. So if only the disease is on the functional level, then and then you can use the maximum dose. But it should not be harmful to the patient. ये हमको वहाँ पे देखना है. The second type of dose is the lethal or the fatal dose. It is also known as a toxicological or narcotic dose. It is such amount of dose which can cause a death of the living being. The fatal dose of different substances may be different. मैंने आपको ये पहले भी बोला था in the drug proving, when you will learn in the FMT, arsenic का fatal dose अलग है, phosphorus का fatal dose अलग है, snake venom का fatal dose अलग है. So the different drug substances, they are having the different quantity by which they can be a fatal to us. A fatal dose of milder narcotic or poison will obviously more than that of the stronger narcotic or poisonous medicines. So हर एक का आप fatal dose पढ़ोगे second year in the forensic medicine and toxicology. The third type of dose is the minimum lethal dose. So this is Delas-Dickel lethal dose की the smallest quantity, the smallest dose that has recorded to be a fatal to the healthy person. Lethal और fatal dose यानी which is fatal, लेकिन उसमें से भी अगर कम से कम जो हम dose देंगे, that is the minimum fatal dose. For example, if the fatal dose of the या फिर जो patient को मार सकता है, which can kill the patient, that is the fatal or the lethal dose. तो वो अगर arsenic अगर उसने 50 ग्राम खा लिया, so that will leads to the death, for example, ना. So that is a fatal dose. But if the minimum quantity तो 0 से 50, that is a 50 यानी fatal dose हो गया. लेकिन अगर उसने 0 से 50 में से अगर 10 ग्राम भी अगर उसने खाया है, that dose, and if that will be a fatal to him, so that will be the minimum lethal dose. So इतने कम quantity में भी अगर वो खाता है, so this will leads to the death. That is known as a minimum fatal dose. Then the booster dose. Booster means we have to increase the power. We are giving the booster doses of polio. So booster means the subsequent doses given to enhance the initial dose action of the initial dose. Then the fractional or the refractive or the divided doses. So here we are giving the dose after the short interval of time. Then the next one is that physiological dose. So these physiological dose are dose which are stimulate the normal functioning of our body, uh, of different organs and the system. Hence, the symptoms thus appearing are known as the physiological dose. The physiological dose is a sufficient quantity and strength of disease to produce a definite or predetermined effect of symptoms of the medicine. And these physiological doses, they are having the certain character. It is injurious to the patient because वो क्या करेगा, you are giving the medicine on the doses which can stimulate the normal physiology or the functions of different organ or the system of our body. It is the dose, if it is large enough, it is a large enough dose to produce the symptoms. For example, अगर आप opium देते हो, constipates the bowel, it produces the intense uh, discomfort to the patient. For these purposes, to recognize the fixed quantity is necessary, not less than 1/2 to 1 grain. This constitutes a physiological dose. तो वो परफेक्ट क्वांटिटी में ही आपको पेशेंट को देना है एंड हेंस इट इज इंजूरियस टू द पेशेंट. तो वो डोज ने अगर फिजियोलॉजिकल एक्शन स्टिमुलेट नहीं की, so this will be in a toxic in nature. Its action is exact opposite to the curative action. And it never employed in the homeopathic practice क्योंकि हमको physiological उसकी एक्टिविटी हमको स्टिमुलेट नहीं करनी है, उसको टॉक्सिक नेचर हमको नहीं देना है एंड हिंस वी आर नॉट गिविंग द physiological dose. So we are giving the infinitesimal small dose. So infinitesimal means very small quantity of dose, which you cannot measure, which is below that Avogadro number, because it is in dynamic in nature. So dynamic vital force is dynamic. So उसको cure करने के लिए medicine भी dynamic होनी चाहिए and hence we are giving the infinitesimal dose. What is the average dose? It is the prescriber's adjusted dose according to the requirement of patient. Then the single dose, a single quantity of medicine, a single dose we are giving in a day. Daily dose, the total amount that given in a day, either as a single dose or a total divided into 3 or 4 doses. Total dose, it means a total amount of a dose given in a day. It should not be exceeded more than 7 to 8 doses per day. So these are the different types of doses. Now we will see the concept of minimum dose. So what is the minimum dose? It is a dose which is sufficient to overpower the disease and capable of producing slight homeopathic aggravation. So this is the dose which is sufficient. यानी आप जो quantity दोगे, that will be sufficient to overpower. What we have to overpower? We have to overpower the natural artificial disease. तो मैंने कल 2 S आपको बताए थे, similar and stronger. So if you want to overpower that natural disease जो patient को हुआ है, उसके लिए we are selecting the similar medicine. वो सिमिलर मेडिसिन अपने बॉडी में जाके इट विल प्रोड्यूसेस द सिमिलर डिसीज, लेकिन वो सिमिलर डिसीज ऑफ सेम ही कैपेसिटी का अगर प्रोड्यूस हो गया, सो नोबडी विल विन. टग ऑफ वार का मैंने एग्जांपल दिया था इसके पहले भी, कि दो टीम्स रहते हैं, दे आर पुलिंग दैट रोप, बट वन फॉर द जीतने के लिए, फॉर टू गिव द अवार्ड फॉर द विनिंग टीम, वन शुड बी अ स्ट्रोंगर, ए या बी दोनों में से एक कोई तो भी स्ट्रोंगर होना चाहिए, अदरवाइज द गेम विल टाई, कुछ भी नहीं होगा वहां पे। सो यहाँ पे भी टग ऑफ वार ही है। नेचुरल डिसीज आपके पेशेंट के बॉडी में है, आपको यहाँ से पुशअप करना है बाय द प्रोड्यूसिंग द आर्टिफिशियल डिसीज, लेकिन यह आर्टिफिशियल डिसीज आपको स्ट्रॉन्गर प्रोड्यूस करना है। सो ये स्ट्रॉन्गर डिसीज प्रोड्यूस करने के लिए वी आर हैविंग द वेपन दैट इज द पोटेंसी। सो यू कैन एडजस्ट योर पोटेंसी। अगर सामने वाली टीम बहुत वीक है, सो यू कैन गिव द हायर पोटेंसी, और यू कैन मैनेज विद द मीडियम पोटेंसी आल्सो। लेकिन सामने वाली टीम बहुत ही ज्यादा फोर्सफुल है, सो अगेन यू हैव टू थिंक फॉर द मीडियम पोटेंसी एंड द हायर पोटेंसी। सो डिपेंडिंग अपॉन the nature of the disease, to overpower that, to annihilate that disease, we have to give the proper weapon, we have to give the proper potency and the proper dose. So the sufficient quantity of the dose kitna dena hai, so that only it will produce a stronger disease, and that will be in a position to annihilate that disease. And at the same time, if there is a production of homeopathic aggravation, then this is the best thing, so that that minimum dose will be a good beneficial for the patient. It is an amount of medicine though which is smaller in quantity, but they produces the excitation of the vital force, and it will be sufficient to change the sick person from the disease state to the healthy state. So this bears the character like it is beneficial to the patient, it is more curative in action, which is useful for the patient. It is always non-toxic in nature because you are only giving the dose which can sufficient to overpower, which is not more than that. बस जितना देना है कि जितना वो artificial disease को overpower कर सके, and hence it is a non-toxic in nature. इट्स एक्शन हैज बीन प्रूव्ड, जिसके एक्शन हमको पता है, मिनिमम डोज देने से क्या क्या फायदे हैं हमको पता है. सो दीज आर द कैरेक्टर्स ऑफ द मिनिमम डोज. सो दिस मिनिमम डोज इज द डोज विच इज सफिशिएंट टू ओवर पावर. इतना ही देना है कि वो नेचुरल डिसीज को ओवर पावर कर सके, एंड एनिहिलेट एट द सेम टाइम, उसको रूट से ही निकालना है अपने को, वो नेचुरल डिसीज को. एंड तीसरा उसमें कैरेक्टर कौन सा है, एंड कैपेबल ऑफ प्रोड्यूसिंग स्लाइड होम्योपैथिक एग्रीवेशन. हमको पता है कि दैट एग्रीवेशन शुड बी वेरी स्लाइड, it should be not long lasting. We have seen the three type of aggravation previously only. So if it is a homeopathic aggravation, so it will last for a very small amount of period, और वो फिर निकल जाएगा, and it is scarcely observed by the patient. It is an amount of medicine which though is in a small quantity, लेकिन वही small quantity it will interfere the action of the vital force, and it is very sufficient to stimulate that vital force, very sufficient to stimulate our immune system, and hence it is very beneficial to the patient. It is curative in action, it is not a toxic in action, and it is action has been proved. So different authors has given their different views. Previously also I have told you कि in paper don't write these views. आपको पता होना चाहिए, that is a good thing, लेकिन पेपर में it is not accepted from you कि आप ये लिखो. यहाँ तक लिखा बस हो गया. ये जो पार्ट है अगर आपके पास टाइम है तो ही लिखिए, अदरवाइज nobody will accept from you to write down. So what the Nash is said about this minimum dose? It is a dose of crude or potentized medicine which is capable of affecting the patient क्यूरेटिवली विदाउट एग्रीवेशन. सो ये जो डोज है इसकी क्वांटिटी ऑफ मेडिसिन इतनी कम होनी चाहिए कि वो सिर्फ वाइटल फोर्स को उसने स्टिमुलेट करना है एंड देन एक्शन विल बी ओवर, so that vital force will annihilate that artificial sorry that natural disease. So it may be a crude drug substance or it may be the potentized medicine. So crude drug substance we are using for the proving, and potentized medicine we can use for the proving as well as for the cure purpose. So इतना ही उसको डोज देना है कि वो बस सफिशिएंट है उतना ही कि जो ओवर पावर कर सके वो नेचुरल डिसीज को without any disease aggravation, without any medicinal aggravation, and if possible homeopathic aggravation अगर वहाँ पे होता है then it should be of the short duration. अगेन द स्टुअर्ट क्लॉज में भी ये मिनिमम डोज के बारे में कहा है कि मिनिमम डोज इज अ डोज सो स्मॉल दैट इट इज नॉट कैपेबल ऑफ प्रोड्यूसिंग सिम्टम्स. उस सिम्टम्स प्रोड्यूस नहीं करने चाहिए. देन यूज एज अ थेरेपेटिकली. Homeopathy requires that the therapeutic dose must be capable of producing slight temporary aggravation or intensification of existing symptoms and producing never reproduce this new symptoms. वो डोज इतना ही होना चाहिए कि जिसने होम्योपैथिक एग्रीवेशन प्रोड्यूस कर लिया वो भी शॉर्ट ड्यूरेशन के लिए, लेकिन वहाँ पे न्यू सिम्टम्स या न्यू एग्रीवेशन वहाँ पे प्रोड्यूस नहीं होना चाहिए. So this is about the minimum dose. It should be a beneficial and it should only stimulate or overpower the disease in a very sufficient quantity of the dose. The concept of minimum dose, पहले मैंने आपको बोला था कि हैनीमन ने जब होम्योपैथी की प्रैक्टिस शुरू की थी ही यूजेस मैसिव डोजेस, लेकिन वहाँ पे क्या होता था पैलिएशन, ओनली पेशेंट को टेम्परेरी रिलीफ मिलता था, पेशेंट इज नॉट गेटिंग द क्योर. So then after the discovery of homeopathy in the year 1786 he used that Dr. Hahnemann used large and repeated doses of the deep acting medicines also. He prescribed Veratrum album for the bronchial asthma every morning for 4 weeks, and even the arnica in the several doses for the dysentery. So in this way again he prescribed the Nux vomica, Cinchona in the different cases by the massive doses. But what will happen, क्या हुआ था उसमें फर्क क्या हुआ था कि the patient gets a temporary relief only, and then he said that कि to avoid the excessive aggravation, वो जो नक्स वोमिका के डोजेस दिए थे या इपिकैक के दिए थे, वराइट्रम अल्बम के दिए थे या मर्क्यूरी के दिए थे, कि दोज आर डीप एक्टिंग मेडिसिन. तो वहाँ पे आइदर पैलिएशन हो गया पेशेंट को एंड आफ्टर द लैब आफ्टर सम पीरियड ऑफ टाइम दे मे हैव द एग्रीवेशन, वही वही सिम्टम्स उनके इंटेंसिफाई करके फिर से आ रहे थे वो पेशेंट को. So after the year 1813, he said that to avoid the excessive aggravation, one has to decide to diminish the dose so that ओनली वाइटल फोर्स को स्टिमुलेट करना है, वो वाइटल फोर्स को हमको ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं देना है, सिर्फ कॉन्फिडेंस उसको देना है. वी शुड डेवलप द इम्यूनिटी सो दैट दैट वाइटल फोर्स विल डू द वर्क. अननेसेसरीली अगर आप मेडिसिन का वहाँ पे डोजेस दोगे सो वो बेचारा पैलिएट हो जाएगा एंड फिर वो बाद में अपना रंग दिखाएगा बाय द unnecessary suppression or unnecessary intensification of the diseases or the symptoms, and hence the to avoid all such things we have to give the minimum dose, and in this way he reached to the concept of minimum dose. So from the 1786 up to the 1813 इतना जो span था he totally uses the massive doses because वो भी एलोपैथी का फिजिशियन था. डिस्कवरी ऑफ होम्योपैथी के बाद धीरे 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 सब कार्डिनल प्रिंसिपल की डिस्कवरी हुई एंड ऐसे ही उसको एक्सपेरिमेंट से ऑब्जर्वेशन से बाय ट्रीटिंग द सो मेनी पेशेंट्स ही गॉट द नॉलेज ऑफ द डिफरेंट थिंग्स. सो जैसे उनको मैसिव डोजेस के बारे में पता चला कि दे आर हार्मफुल टू द पेशेंट, they shifted to the minimum dose. So in this way he shifted from the massive doses to the minimum dose because this minimum dose is beneficial to the patient, it is curative in action, it is non-toxic, and it gives the better result as compared to the maximum dose or as compared to the physiological dose. तो उन्होंने जो मेडिसिन दिए थे डीप एक्टिंग मेडिसिन उसके उनको कुछ बैड इफेक्ट्स मिले एंड हींस ही रीच टू द इनफाइनाइटेसिमल डोज के कंसेप्ट पे वो आ गए. देन दे आर द सर्टन एडवांटेजेस और अगर एडवांटेजेस है तो डिसएडवांटेजेस भी वहाँ पे रहेंगे. So advantages and disadvantages of the minimum dose are also there. So that advantages and disadvantages and repetition of those we will take it tomorrow. So we will take a short recap of today's session. So today we have seen how the medicine should be selected, how potency should be selected on the basis of constitution and temperament, on the basis of nature of disease, on the basis of suppression, vitality, and the physical and mental symptoms. Then we have seen the nature of medicine. जैसे मेडिसिन है वैसे ही आपने उसको हायर या लोअर में देना है. अगर वो नोजोड है तो यू कैन गिव द हायर पोटेंसी. अगर वो मेडिसिन बहुत ज़्यादा इंटेंसिफिकली एक्ट करती है जैसे आर्सेनिकम, आयोडम या फिर प्रटागस, इन सम डिसीजेस यू हैव टू गिव द लो पोटेंसी. आपको अवॉइड करना है इन्फेक्शन या रिजॉल्व करना है डिपेंडिंग ऑन दैट अगेन यू हैव टू गिव द लोअर और हायर पोटेंसी. सम मेडिसिन को आपको यूज करना है सो यू हैव टू टेक द ग्रेट प्रिकॉशंस फॉर द लैकेसीज, लाइकोपोडियम, फॉस्फोरस, सिलेशिया. Then we have seen the different types of doses. Maximum dose, it can be given for the primary manifestations of the miasms. Lethal dose or the fatal dose which kills the human being. Minimum fatal dose यानी जो smallest dose है which is fatal to the healthy person. Booster dose which will enhances the action of the previous dose. Fractional or divided doses. Fraction में लेते हैं हम लोग. Physiological dose which is injurious, which is toxic, exactly opposite to that of the curative action, and hence we are not using this in the homeopathic practice. Average निकालना पूरे doses का, that is the average dose. Single dose in a day, that is the single dose. Daily dose अब आप दे रहे हो, it may be the single dose or it may be divided to 3 to 4 doses, and total number of doses, that is a total dose. इन सबको ओवर पावर करना है. अनवांटेड एग्रीवेशन if you don't want, then the minimum dose we have to follow. We have seen the evolution of this concept of minimum dose. We have seen what the Nash has said, what the Stuart Cruz has said about this minimum dose, and what are the characters of this minimum dose. It is a beneficial, it is non-toxic, it is curative, and its action is proved, and hence we are giving the minimum dose. So tomorrow we will see the advantages and the disadvantages. So advantages of minimum dose and disadvantages of the maximum dose or the physiological dose. And after that we will see the repetition of the doses. So here I have asked you the two questions. What is the nosode? And second question is why we should not give the higher potency to the idiosyncratic patient. Okay, so if you have any difficulty, you can ask me anytime.